Good morning, students. I hope that you all are completely fine. My name is Shobik Das. I'll be teaching you physics. So, here we start with our first chapter of physics. As you have already seen your textbook of physics, which we have already sent you the PDF copy. The first chapter is rotational dynamics. Let us first discuss something about the syllabus. Previously, we were having 20 chapters, but now the chapter has been reduced to 16. But it's not that the syllabus has been reduced, the syllabus has been compressed. You can take, for example, rotational dynamics. This is a merger of two chapters. Previously, they were having circular motion and rotational motion. These two chapters have been merged and we are having only one chapter, that is rotational dynamics. So we will first see what is meant by rotation and what is meant by dynamics. Rotation, in this chapter we will be studying these two concepts, that is circular motion as well as rotational motion. And kinetics. This dynamics word basically comes from the word that is kinetics. Kinetics is basically of two types, kinematics and dynamics. Out of this, kinematics deals with displacement, velocity, speed, acceleration, which we will, in kinematics, they are not considering how this displacement, velocity, speed, acceleration is been taken care. Means what force has been acting on it, due to which displacement, velocity, speed, acceleration is changing. In this kinematics, both linear and angular motion is been considered. You might be knowing linear motion. We will be seeing angular motion in this chapter in the next slide. Next one, which is dynamics. We will talk about dynamics now. Whatever kinematics is there, it is also there in dynamics, but the difference is that in dynamics we consider whatever force is applied on it, due to which whatever things is happening. Means if the object is moving, object is having some sort of displacement, change in velocity, change in speed, acceleration, why it is changing, what type of force is acting on it, this all things we will be considering in this word dynamics. Okay, so let's proceed. What is circular motion? Circular motion means what? Whenever particle moves along the circumference of the circle, you can see this particle, which is moving along the circumference of the circle. This is called as a circular motion. Okay, you might have studied electrons revolve around the nucleus. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus, so electrons are performing circular motion. You might have tried this, stone tied to a string when rotated perform circular motion. Whenever we will be tying a stone to a string and we will try to rotate, it will perform circular motion. There are many examples. You can also take this example, Earth rotates around the sun. Earth also performs circular motion, even if it is an elliptical orbit. Let's proceed further. Kinematic equation or linear equation, this is also called as. First equation is S is equals to ut plus half at square. S is called as a displacement. U is the initial velocity. Take for example, vehicle is at rest. We have accelerated the vehicle. Due to acceleration, vehicle has obtained some sort of velocity. So U over here will be 0 as a vehicle was at rest. T is a time and A is the acceleration. Okay. S is what? Displacement. U is what? Initial velocity. T is time and A is acceleration. Second equation, V is equals to U plus AT, where V is final velocity, U is initial velocity, A is acceleration and T is the time. This is the third equation, V square is equals to U square plus 2AS, means final velocity square is equals to initial velocity square plus 2 into acceleration into displacement. This is kinematic equation. Next one. See these three questions which we are looking over here, 1, 2, 3. This is, as soon as the chapter starts, left corner they have given these three questions. So we are first of all seeing this answers for these three questions, because these three questions are basic concepts which you should be knowing. Next one, what do you mean by real and pseudo force? Real force and pseudo force, pseudo, over here P is silent, so the name is pseudo force. Real forces are those forces which is having a physical origin. Physical origin means what? Take for example, I am kicking a football. So I am kicking, so I am the physical origin. Take for example, I am banging the wall. This is also a real force. Banging has been done by whom? By me. So there is a physical origin. Means somebody is applying force. For example, kicking a football is a real force, as somebody is kicking a football, or if I am pulling a spring. Next one, pseudo force. See, pseudo force is a force which we tell or which has been felt in a non-inertial frame. Non-inertial frame, you will, if those who are not knowing, don't worry, in further slides it will be explained as well. You might be knowing that Newton has given some laws, first law, second law, third law. Whenever Newton's law failed, whenever Newton's law is not applicable, then in order to apply Newton's law, in order to make Newton's law valid, there is one force which has been created, that is called as a pseudo force. You can take for example, you might be knowing centrifugal force, that is one force. So centrifugal force is a real force which is not having its origin, physical origin. Pseudo force is also said as force which is not having its physical origin. Okay, let's proceed. What is center of mass? A particle at which the whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. Whole mass. Take for example, this is a circle. Circle's center of mass will be this point, center. If this is a rod, then the center of mass will be this point. Means if we keep a finger over here, we can balance this rod. So this is a center of mass. A particle at which the whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. Difference between circular motion and rotational motion. This are also the part of your textbook question only. Circular motion, whenever the object is moving in a circular manner, it is called as a circular motion. Just 1 minute. Okay. Circular motion. See, whenever a body rotates, its particle circulates. Take for example, I am having a pen in my pocket and I am rotating. You can see over here, this, I am having pen in my pocket and I am rotating. So what will happen? Pen will circulate. And I will rotate. When do we say that the body rotates? When its axis is fixed at the center. You can see this axis. It is rotating around this axis. So this body is said to be rotating. You can tell fan rotates. Fan doesn't circulates. Okay. Earth rotates as well as revolves. Okay. We will see all these things in the next slide. Circular motion. Whenever particle is moving along certain particle, it is called as a circulation. I'll repeat. If a body rotates, then its particle circulates. If you are rotating with anything in your pocket, then that particle will circulate. Okay, let's move. Rotation and revolution. When do we say that the body is rotating? When axis of rotation falls within the body. You can see this axis of rotation is falling within the body. So we can say that this body is rotating. Over here, when do we say that the body is revolving? When axis of rotation is falling outside the body. Axis of rotation is there, but it is falling outside the body. So we say that the body is revolving. See, Earth also rotates as well as revolves. Earth rotates, so therefore we are having 24 hours a day. Earth goes on rotating, and Earth revolves. Due to Earth's revolution, we can see it is having 365 days. Kinetics of circular motion. Newton stated that for describing any types of motion, only three quantities are required: displacement, velocity, and acceleration. He has not considered separate equation for circular motion. So later on he has realized that linear motion and circular motion are different. So he came up with all of these terms. Over here we will introduce some of the terms related to circular motion. First term is angular displacement. Angular displacement. It is similar to the displacement. Displacement, linear motion, it is only called displacement. But angular displacement means what? There is some sort of displacement happening in terms of angle. So the name is given angular displacement. See, particle was previously at point A. After some time it has reached to point B. So distance traveled from A to B. The distance traveled from A to B is S. Distance traveled from A to B is S. So angular displacement can be defined as, it is an angle traced by the radius vector. It is an angle traced by a radius vector by a particle performing circular motion. We can see this particle is performing circular motion, and there is an angle traced by a radius vector when it is moving to point A to B, when it is moving from point to point B. So angular displacement formula, theta is equals to arc upon radius, which you have done this in maths. Theta is equals to arc upon radius. What arc has been made when this particle is moving to point A to B? Arc made is S and radius vector is R. So theta can be denoted as S upon R. It can be also stated as S is equals to R theta. S is equals to R theta. Next one, angular velocity. See, linear velocity was what? Rate of change of displacement with respect to time. Over here, it is rate of change of angular displacement. Over here, angular should be there. Rate of change of angular displacement with respect to time. So, angular velocity is denoted by omega. It is also called as omega, not W. It is called as omega. Omega average is equals to delta theta upon delta t. We are taking over delta theta because we are assuming that change in angular displacement or angular displacement is very small. So therefore we are taking delta theta upon delta t. Means in small piece of time, whatever angular displacement has been made, that is called as a omega average. Omega instantaneous or angular velocity instantaneous. Instantaneous means what? Velocity at that time. Velocity at that time or velocity during a very small amount of time. It is denoted by d theta by dt. Again, it is very small. Angular velocities, SI unit is radian per second. Radian per second. RAD. RAD is used for measuring angular displacement. But as it is angular velocity, so its SI unit is radian per second. Like velocity, linear velocity's SI unit was what? Meter per second. So similarly, angular velocity, as it is angular, whenever it is angular, it comes rad, radian per second. Next one, angular acceleration. Angular acceleration, we will first of all see what is linear acceleration. It was rate of change of velocity with respect to time. Similarly, angular velocity is defined as the rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. Rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. So angular acceleration is denoted by alpha. Angular acceleration is denoted by alpha. So we can write alpha average is equals to delta omega upon delta t. Delta omega means what? It is denoting angular velocity with respect to time. Next, alpha instantaneous. Alpha instantaneous means what? Angular acceleration within a small interval of time. That is d omega by dt. Over here, its SI unit is radian per second square. You might have already studied the SI unit of linear acceleration. Linear acceleration was what? Meter per second square. Similarly, in terms of meter, what we are writing? Radian per second square. Okay. Next. Angular displacement, whether it is a scalar or vector. Angular displacement, whether it is a scalar or vector. Can you tell me what do you mean by scalars? Scalar is what? Which only depends upon magnitude, whereas vector depends upon magnitude as well as direction. Okay. But this definition of vector is not proper. Whatever we have studied, the definition of vector quantity is not proper. Vector quantity states us that the quantity which will having direction as well as magnitude is called as a vector quantity. But there is one quantity called as current, which is having magnitude as well as direction, but then also it is a scalar quantity. Okay, so vector quantity are those quantities which will obey vector laws, and law of parallelogram. Law of parallelogram, which we have already studied in 11th grade. Okay, but angular displacement is a thing which is scalar as well as vector. Angular displacement, if this question has been asked, angular displacement is what type of quantity? You can write both scalars as well as vector. When angular displacement is finite, means it can be measurable, it is called as a scalar quantity. Finite means what? It can be measurable. It is a scalar quantity. But when angular displacement is very small means what? Infinitesimally small, then it is a vector quantity. When angular displacement is very small, it is a vector quantity. When angular displacement is finite, it is a scalar quantity. Direction of angular displacement. The direction of angular displacement is basically given by right hand thumb rule. If you imagine your hand, if the curled fingers are denoting the direction of the motion of the particle, then this thumb will denote, or this outstretched thumb will denote the direction of the angular displacement. You can see this particle moving in a circular manner. So angular displacement, direction of angular displacement will be in upward direction. When the particles are moving in anti-clockwise direction, you can see this particle are moving in anti-clockwise direction, then the angular displacement is outside. Angular displacement is outside, perpendicular to the plane of this paper. You can see this angular displacement, it is moving outside. When the particles are moving in a clockwise direction, you can see this particle are moving in a clockwise direction, then the direction of angular displacement is inside to the plane of the paper. Over here it was outside as it was anti-clockwise. Over here it is clockwise, as it is clockwise, it is inside the paper. The direction is inside the plane of the paper. Over here it was outside the plane of the paper. Direction of angular displacement and angular velocity. This we will be studying now. Over here, see both of them. Angular displacement over here. Particles are moving in a anti-clockwise direction. As the particles are moving in anti-clockwise direction, direction of angular displacement as well as angular velocity, both are in the same direction. direction of angular displacement and angular velocity both are in same direction. You can see this, the particles are in anti-clockwise direction. This arrow is wrong. Particles are moving in anti-clockwise direction. Sorry, particles are moving in a clockwise direction. As it is moving in a clockwise direction, angular displacement and angular velocity both are inside the plane of the paper. Okay. In previous slide we have already seen that direction of angular displacement and angular velocity both will be always in same direction. Direction of angular acceleration. Angular acceleration direction we will try to understand. Whenever the fan is switched off, take for example, fan is already having its constant velocity, angular velocity and angular displacement is same, but whenever it is switched off, what will happen? Angular acceleration will be in the direction opposite. You can see this alpha means angular acceleration is in the opposite direction of angular velocity as well as angular displacement. This all are opposite. Why it is opposite? Whenever we are switching off the fan, what will happen? Its speed will decrease. As speed is decreasing, so alpha should be in opposite direction. Then only fan will come to a rest. Next one, whenever we are switching on the fan is switched off, we are switching on the fan or increasing its speed, what will happen? Angular displacement, angular velocity as well as angular acceleration, all these three will be in the same direction. So therefore a rest fan will start working or start moving, or it is previously at speed 1. If we increase the speed to 2, its speed will increase. Its speed is increasing as all these three are in same direction. So speed will increase in this case. Next one, angular acceleration. We will try to understand this concept now. Can you see the fan of your room, whether it is moving in a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction? It is moving in an anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction means what? Angular displacement will be inverse. Like we have already studied in the previous slide, that angular displacement and angular velocity will be in the same direction. So if angular displacement is inverse, naturally angular velocity will also be inverse. But can you tell me what will be the angular acceleration in this case? Yeah, angular acceleration. Angular acceleration will be 0. Why angular acceleration is 0? Because the fan is already running. There is no change in speed. What is the formula? What is the definition for angular acceleration? The rate of change of angular velocity. The rate of change of angular velocity with respect to time. But as there is no rate of change of angular velocity, or in short, the angular velocity is constant, so the fan's angular acceleration will be 0. It will not be having any angular acceleration as it is not changing with time, or as velocity is not changing with time. Okay, kinematic equation of motion. In this kinematic equation of motion, both the equations has been written, linear equation as well as angular equation. In linear, we tell it v is equals to u plus at. This is first equation of motion. Similarly, first equation of motion according to angular equation of motion is omega is equals to omega 0 plus alpha t. Omega is denoting what? Final angular velocity. Omega 0 is denoting initial angular velocity, and alpha is denoting angular acceleration. Similarly, over here a was denoting linear acceleration. Second equation, s is equals to u plus at plus half at square. S is denoting displacement, u is denoting initial velocity, t is denoting time, a is denoting acceleration. Similarly, in terms of angular equation, theta is denoting angular displacement, omega 0 is denoting initial angular velocity, t is denoting time, alpha is denoting angular acceleration. Similarly over here, third equation of motion, v square is equals to u square plus 2as. Similarly over here, omega square is there. Omega square means what? Final angular velocity is equals to omega 0 square, means initial angular velocity square, plus 2. Over here s is not there. Over here it should be theta. 2 alpha theta. Alpha is what? Angular acceleration, and theta is the displacement. Next one, characteristics of circular motion. This is given in the first page only, but we are doing it now. There are two characteristics. First one, circular motion is an accelerated motion. Circular motion is always an accelerated motion. Why it is called so? We will try to understand it. Just see this diagram first. Basically, A, B, C, D. This particle is moving in a circular manner. This particle is moving in a circular manner. But you will see that the particle, when it reaches the point A, it is directing towards north direction. Whenever it is coming to point B, it is directing towards west direction, C, south, and D, it is directed towards east. You will see that this particle, even though it is moving with a constant speed, but it is not moving with constant velocity. Why it is not moving with constant velocity? Velocity depends upon direction. We will see that particle is continuously changing its direction whenever it is moving from one point to other point. As it is changing its direction, so what is happening? It can be stated as change in velocity with respect to time. Whenever it is changing velocity, even if the speed is not changing, it is said to be that it is an accelerated motion. What is it said? It is an accelerated motion, and it is always tangential outwards at each and every point. We can take each and every point, it will be always tangential outwards. Okay. Next one. Circular motion is a periodic motion. This is the second characteristic. But periodic motion comprises of three words. Periodic are of three types. First one, periodic means repetitive after a distance. If some object is repeated after certain distance, it is called as a periodic in space. If some object is repeating itself after equal interval of time, it is called as a periodic in time. But over here, circular motion is periodic. They are specifying. It is periodic in terms of path. They are periodic in terms of path. Periodic in terms of path. Kindly see this diagram. You will understand. See circular motion, uniform circular motion, and non-uniform circular motion. You will see that both are moving in a circular manner. But over here, speed is constant. Over here, speed is not constant. But what is constant in both of them? That they are repeating itself after each and every path. Path is again repeated again and again. Time is not repeated, as well as distance is also not repeated. But path is repeated. Means this particle is coming to this point only. This particle is also moving to the extreme point. But same, as well as distance is also not the same. But what is same? Path is same. Okay. Next one. Circular motion are of two types. First one, uniform circular motion. It is denoted as UCM. UCM. Non-uniform circular motion means circular motion which is not uniform. Uniform circular motion, which we have already studied. Motion of a particle along the circumference of the circle with constant speed or constant angular speed. It is called as a uniform circular motion. You can take, for example, motion of the earth around the sun, motion of the electrons around the nucleus. This all are the examples of circular motion. Next one, non-uniform circular motion. Non-uniform circular motion basically happens, you can see this, non-uniform circular motion basically happens due to the gravitational pull. Non-uniform circular motion, that is vertical circular motion, over there will be more clear. Motion of the particle along the circumference of the circle with constant average speed. Over here what they are telling? Constant with constant average speed. Speed is not constant. Motion of the particle along the circumference of the circle without constant angular speed or linear speed. Over here, uniform circular motion, whenever we will be considering time periods, formula is 2 pi upon omega. Time period for a circular path is given by 2 pi upon omega, and omega can be written as 2 pi upon t. Knowing 2 pi upon t, but we are knowing n, that is frequency, is proportional to time, means n is equal to 1 upon t. If we substitute this over here, then what we'll be getting? Omega is equal to 2 pi n. I will repeat. T is equal to 2 pi upon omega. Time period is equal to 2 pi. Velocity. So angular velocity can be written as 2 pi upon t. It is 1 upon t. In place of 1 upon t, what we can write? N can be written over here. So we'll be getting 2 pi n. So we'll be getting what? 2 pi n. Next one, centrifugal force. Centrifugal force, if we break the term centri means what? It is center seeking. Centri means what? It is center. Centri means what? It is center. And pital means what? It is center seeking. Means it will be always directed towards the center. As it is always directed towards the center, so whenever the particles are moving in a circular manner, there is a force which binds the particle towards the center. That is called as a centripetal force. Let's see the definition. If the force acting on a particle performing circular motion along the radius of the circle, particles are moving along the radius of the circle, but it is always directed towards the center, and directed towards the center, it is called a centripetal force. Centripetal force. You can see there is a force due to which this is moving in a circular manner. Javelin, no. Shot put. Next one, centripetal force. Centripetal force is also termed as. So centripetal force is not any other force. It comes in accordance with the existing force only. Already existing force plays the role of the centripetal force. So centripetal force FCP is a mass into acceleration. We are knowing that force is equal to mass is into acceleration. Acceleration can be written as v square upon r. So we will be left with this formula. That is, this formula is very important. mv square upon r. We will be using this formula for all the derivation and such. These three formulas are important, but this formula is most important. mv r omega, mr omega square. Over here in vector form, we denote FCP is equal to minus mr omega square. Why this negative sign is there? Because radius vector is directed away. You can see this sign. This is the direction of the radius vector. But centripetal force is always directed towards the center. So radius vector and centripetal force are directed opposite to each other. As they are directed opposite to each other, so it is a negative sign over here we will be getting. Imagine, now we will study what is centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is also denoted by this term, that is CFF. CFF, centrifugal force. Imagine a person A sitting on a merry-go-round. This is a merry-go-round which is moving in a circular manner. This person A is sitting over here. This person, see, whenever we are sitting in a train and whenever the train is moving, we consider ourselves that we are stationary according to the other passengers who are sitting in the train, but it is not exactly the same. Okay. This person A is sitting on a merry-go-round, but after certain time, this person A feels some sort of force which is dragging him outside. Feels certain force which is dragging him outside. Over here, we have already studied, or I have already stated, there is some sort of pseudo force created. Pseudo force created. Now, why pseudo force comes into existence or comes into play? Over here is the explanation. See, according to Newton's first law, what does Newton's first law states us? That every particle will be at rest, will remain at rest, and the particle will be at motion. But this particle was at rest only whenever this merry-go-round was moving. This particle, in accordance with A, he feels that I am at rest. But then also this person A will feel an outwards force that will drag him outside. This force is called as a centrifugal force. This force is called centrifugal force. But this force comes into existence because Newton's law failed to explain this condition. Because according to A was at rest. Why this outward force is coming into play? What does Newton's law states is that body will be at rest only unless and until external force is acting on it. Over here, there is no external force acting on A, but then also why molecule A or person A is moving outside. For explaining or for making Newton's law valid, over here, centrifugal force came into play. Centrifugal force is called as a pseudo force. All explanation has been written over here. You can read it out afterwards. I will explain one more time. Newton's law failed in this condition. In order to valid Newton's law, or in order to give experimental proof, pseudo force came into existence. This pseudo force is called as centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is the pseudo force. Centripetal force is also having the same formula. In vector form, we represent centripetal force as this one, but you will see that over here plus sign is there. Why plus sign is there? Because the radius vector is directed away from the center, as well as centrifugal force is also directed away from the center. Both are in the same direction. So therefore this plus sign is there. Okay. Now inertial frame of reference and non-inertial frame of reference. This is very important because based on this there are many concepts which we have to understand. First one, inertial frame of reference. You can see this person C standing. As this person C is standing, so person C is at rest. Person C is at rest. Okay. C is at rest. So C is in which frame of reference? Inertial frame of reference, as velocity is equals to 0 because C is already stationary. So C is in inertial frame of reference. Over here we will be considering only A. A is in non-inertial frame of reference. This frame of reference is called non-inertial frame of reference because this object is moving. This object is moving, which means what? It is having some sort of velocity. It is having some sort of velocity means what? It is having acceleration as well. So it is in accelerated frame of reference. Accelerated frame is called as a non-inertial frame of reference. Even if A is stationary as compared to B and B is stationary as compared to A, but according to C we have to consider. This is called as an accelerated frame of reference. This is called as accelerated frame of reference or non-inertial frame of reference. Okay. Thank you.